Alright guys, it's time to have a serious conversation. So you're probably wondering what I'm doing sitting on a bench. Today's topic of conversation is 5 things I hate about the Veloster. And the reason why I'm going over this is mainly because now that the second generation models are out, it opens up many opportunities for people to pick up the first gen Veloster at an affordable price, whether that's the nav or the turbo. And honestly, it's just time to talk about pros and cons. And the second generation obviously improved a lot on the platform in many different ways. So let's focus on the things that I dislike about the car from an enthusiast standpoint. Alright, so first things first, the one thing that I've addressed on numerous videos before that I really dislike is the overly aggressive stability and traction control built on the first gen Veloster. Now for those of you guys who have an automatic or a DCT or are focused on getting that, you're probably not going to have this issue, and if anything, because of gear ratioing, you're going to love them because they also have an eco mode meant to help you save on fuel. But for those of you guys that want kind of a more sporty feeling and looking at getting a stick shift model or have a stick shift model, you will immediately know that even getting a clean rolling start with the vehicle in first gear is a mission. And many people in the community actually actively turn off traction control right from the moment that they turn on their cars, for the same reason that it just gives you a more predictable drive. Not just that, but the irony of doing that is that for a lot of people, it does give you slightly worse fuel economy, even though the car is a bit more predictable and a little more linear in power. So that's just kind of my biggest pet peeve with the vehicle, is that from factory the tune isn't what it should be, and so buyers beware. The second thing I hate about the vehicle that might be more in line with some of you old school guys that have driven stick shift vehicles before, and again this is obviously aimed at the stick shift crowd, is rev hang. And for those of you guys that don't know, essentially what happens is that when you let off the throttle and you're in gear, you're supposed to drop revs relatively quickly because of the fact that there's no more fuel or air mixture going in to constantly hold a rev. However, because of strict emission standards, these cars actually will hang the rev, which essentially means that rather than just let it drop, for emissions reasons, you actually hold the rev even if you're not on the throttle, and it kind of slowly lets it dip down. So here I'm holding it and I'm letting off the throttle, and as you can see, it's still holding at 3,000 RPM. My foot's completely off the throttle. It's still coasting. It's slowly finally, whoa, sorry, bumps. It's slowly finally dropping revs, but it's doing it extremely slow. That is exactly what rev hang is. And it shouldn't honestly be doing that. Without rev hang, it should just kind of fall back to basically, 0 RPM or until you press the clutch in. Again, this is to be environmentally friendly and to not create excess smog, but from an enthusiast standpoint and just for sportier driving, it can be an annoyance. So that's kind of the second thing I extremely dislike, and I know it kind of goes hand with the first one, but second thing I hate about the car. The third thing, and this is specific to turbo models and obviously people that have a stick shift model without an eco mode, it's basically how much the Veloster platform, at least the turbo version, relies on its turbo to actually drive and create its power source. And for you guys to kind of understand this, I'm going to cut to a video real quick of me driving to kind of show you and better explain. So I'm about to demonstrate how much it relies on the turbo. You heard that? I'm not even at 2,000, well, I'm hitting 2,000 RPM, and you should be hearing the blow-off valve actuate. So here's a quick example to show you how much it relies on the turbo. I'm driving really slow because I'm in a parking lot about to park, but you'll hear the blow-off valve actuate even like at low RPMs. So here goes. See, that was even below 2,000 and you hear the blow-off valve. And there you have it. Obviously that goes in hand with fuel consumption and fuel economy, so that's kind of a big one there, especially for consumers that don't really care for a sportier car. Alright, so the fourth thing on my list, and this is kind of really aimed at consumers, and it's just essentially that if something is simple to do, you expect it to be just that. Something simple and easy that doesn't require a lot of work. And so the one thing that I'm focusing on is how difficult Hyundai has made it to replace your primary headlight bulb. For those of you that don't know or don't currently own the car, in order to replace your headlight bulb, you essentially have to not remove the bumper, but you have to do a little bit of work as if you're going to remove the bumper. So at the very least, you do have to disconnect your front bumper from the fender and essentially kind of get your hand in there to remove a bolt so you can remove the headlight housing assembly in order to replace the bulb. The other inconvenience is the fact that on the turbo models, they use a bulb called an H11B, which is quite a unique bulb. So for those of you guys that are interested in doing an aftermarket install like the LED kit that I did, or HIDs, you're gonna have to do a little bit of groundwork to get it to work. So you're probably wondering my pet peeve about removing the headlight bulbs, or removing the headlight in general. So this right here is the gap in order to take out the bulb. The bulb is actually kind of a little bit further in, but if you have larger hands, and believe me, we've even had people with smaller, really thin hands try replacing a bulb. It's not practical. Most of the time, you find yourself having to, like I said, disconnect the bumper to get your hand in there because it's a really, really tight fit. So, yeah, there's that complaint. And last but definitely not least, and the one major thing that was addressed with the second gen models, is independent rear suspension. For those of you guys that have no idea what that means, it means that the suspension in the rear works independently from one another, much like the front end. So if you were to hit, say, a big gap in the road, like a pothole, essentially only that side will be affected, and then you go on with the rest of your day. However, in the first gen Veloster, if you were to do the exact same thing, because the rear suspension is not independent, the whole rear end will move accordingly, and you just get this major shift of the whole vehicle. Sometimes, depending on how bad the impact, you kind of slightly, fishtail the rear end. You're not going to spin out or lose control or anything like that, but obviously it is not a feeling that gives you confidence, especially when you're kind of being very enthusiastic on twists and turns. So, yes. Whoa, crazy hair, don't care. I lost the other video, that was the ending. So I'm doing this one real quick to fill in the gap. Sorry about the crappy quality. But yeah, guys, those are the 5 things I dislike or hate about the first generation Veloster platform. For those of you guys that have a Veloster already, in the comments down below, tell me what you guys dislike about the vehicle, whether it's from an enthusiast standpoint or a consumer. There are a lot of things that I do like, and if I get enough interest, I guess I'll state the 5 things that I love about the car. But I know a lot of people wanted to know, like, hey, since this was the first attempt at the car, what's crucial that you really dislike. So those are my pet peeves and the stuff that I disliked. But again, I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. And for those of you that are looking to buy this car, if you guys have any other questions that I can possibly address, please feel free, as always, to mention them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer promptly. But as always, guys, thanks for all the love and support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Hey guys, real quick, I don't really have any funny outtakes this video. Sorry, I've been kind of MIA. I've just been really swamped with work and doing a few other stuff. But really quick announcement, expect another short announcement video later this week. Again, I'm trying to do something with the fans and just viewers in general when it comes to Halloween. I'm probably going to be doing a few Halloween streams, which I'll actually be announcing in that video. And I know I also mentioned that I was going to announce the winners to the last giveaway, not the LED bulb one, but the previous one. So I'll also be doing that in that video, so just wait for it. It should be up like Friday or Saturday. But yeah, guys, thanks for all the love and support, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.